Now, the issue with tattooing is lines are everything. Everything. Lines. The more stylized the lines, the more the use of thick and thin lines, the better the tattoo looks. So, that's kind of what this whole thing is about, is line work within Photoshop. And it's great, you can apply the same technique to comic books, you can apply the same technique to, print. The stress is always on line quality. So let's make a new document here. And now I'm not bound by any size rules. Okay, let's say I'm doing a 4x4 tattoo. Let's go 6x6. It'd be easier. So if I do a 6x6 tattoo, okay, and I say 300 dots per inch. Let's go into image size, and just do some crunching here. So that's 1800. Okay, but why don't I do a 12x12 tattoo? Let's say 1800. We'll knock this down to 72 so it's faster. We'll put it back up there so it's faster. So now I'm looking at 25x25, and I go 50x50. Okay, because 25 and 25 is 50. In all actuality, if you really think about it, I can make it, as long as I keep it within a square, I can make this anything. I can make it 1 billion by 1 billion, and it would still shrink down to a 6x6. So maybe when designing Flash, kind of think, I want to be able to shrink this to any dimension and still look good. If I do it inside a rectangle, it's not going to do that, because I will have to shrink it corresponding to, the height and width. This is just the height and width is the same. As long as I stay within this coloring book area, I'll be fine. Alright, so here, same rules apply. I always just fill this with a 50% gray. And you know why? Because the fact that your eyes tend to focus well on gray. In fact, I usually fill it with black and then tone it down to a certain percentage. And we're going to just practice some stupid things. Now, again, line quality is everything. So I'm going to end up using my sketch brush, but I'm going to end up doing some line work after the fact. I have to come up with the concept first, and then to trace out. And I'm just getting my system all set up here with my nice little workflow I got. There we go. Alright, so it's got to be random, of course. What do we do? What do we draw? It's got to be happy enough for the girls that take this lesson to be fun. How about the age-old dagger through the heart thing? Yeah. Okay, dagger through the heart theme, go. Okay, so let's start out sketching up my rough draft here. We're looking for some kind of dagger, and it's got to be in some kind of heart. Now, be smart. You're in Photoshop. Heart goes on another layer. Wow, this is kind of dragging. Okay, another thing, you're in Photoshop, so duplicate that layer and then kind of move it out towards this way. Voila, heart. I do the same thing on the road. The only difference is I use tracing paper. So I'll draw on tracing paper, and then what I'll do is when I trace out the image, I flip the tracing paper and fold it in half, and then I have a heart. And if I offset it, I have one of those squishy hearts, just like this. Okay, dagger. Let's start moving that around a little bit. Get some ideas where that's going to go. If I can't move anything in Photoshop, it must mean that I have some kind of transform in there. Good. Let's get rid of some of this after spray here. If I want to move the entire image, I just grab all 3 layers and kind of move it over. I like this concept. I'm just going to drop it. So layer, merge layers. Remember, this is just the underpainting, so I'm not really worried about setting this in stone yet. I just want it really easy to work on, and a bunch of stupid layers is not one of the things I want to deal with. Okay, obviously you're going to have some kind of cut here and some kind of cut here. And I'll just start kind of weeding out this blade. So I'm going to treat it like the blade is going right through the heart, but I can still see through the heart. This will lead to a better blade. And I'm going to start working with a bigger brush because I can almost, don't forget, you know, I still got to do the line work, and it's just a concept. And if I paint silhouette mostly. And then I can work that way out, just like that. So if I could work out the silhouette of a very sweet knife, I can use it as some kind of trace back for the line work. And I like those one knives that kind of do the little thing right in that area. So I'm going to add that into my design. And then if I like to keep that, you know, where I can see it more, I can move the heart later on just by doing a lasso trick. Just like that. And then hold shift, and I can add to that. And then I can move that whole area down a little bit further. Again, it's all in the design too. You don't want to get it too, if I have something like this, you know, it looks unbalanced, so I might have something that just kind of goes like that. Because it still has this, but it's not so far unbalanced. And speaking of balance, let's work on that a little bit. So don't forget, all this is virtual, so I can now change it and go back into here and apply it. More in the next video.